You've been paying into Social Security your entire working life, every paycheck, every year, since the first job you ever had. The money was taken before you could touch it, automatically, without asking, line item on every pay stub you've ever received. And somewhere in the back of your mind, there's a number, a monthly check, a promise that when you're done working, the system pays you back. You've probably looked it up, maybe on the SSA website, maybe on one of those letters they send every few years. You saw the number, what you'd get at 62, what you'd get at 67, what you'd get at 70. 3 numbers, 3 options. And most Americans, pick the smallest one. Not because they did the math, because they're afraid of the wrong thing. That fear is going to cost you over $100,000. Let me explain what's actually happening. Because this is the single largest financial decision most Americans will ever make. And the majority are making it based on a feeling, not a calculation. When you turn 62, Social Security lets you start collecting. You don't have to wait. The money is there. You've been watching it build for decades. And after a lifetime of paying in, the instinct is overwhelming. Take it. Take it now. Before something changes. Before the system runs out. Before you die and never see a dime. That instinct is human. It's understandable. And it is, statistically, mathematically, provably, the most expensive financial mistake the average American retiree makes. Here's the math. And the math does not care about your feelings. If your full retirement age is 67, and your benefit at that age is $2,000 a month, here is what happens depending on when you claim. Claim at 62, you get $1,400 a month. That's a 30% permanent reduction. Not temporary, permanent, every check, for the rest of your life. Claim at 67, you get the full $2,000. Claim at 70, you get $2,480. Every year you delay past your full retirement age, your monthly benefit grows by 8%. Guaranteed. Not market dependent, not variable. 8% per year, built into the law, backed by the federal government. There is no investment on earth that offers a guaranteed 8% annual return. Not a bond, not a dividend stock, not a savings account, not real estate, nothing. And it is available to every single American with a Social Security record. Most people walk past it on their 62nd birthday without knowing it was there. Now, you might be thinking, yes, but if I claim early, I collect for more years. I get smaller checks, but I get more of them. Over time, it evens out. That's the logic most people use. It is the reason 62 is the most popular claiming age in America. 27% of new claimants choose it. Over 90% claim before 70. And the logic sounds right, but the math says otherwise. The Social Security Administration's own data shows that the average life expectancy for a 65-year-old man is 84. For a woman, 87. The break-even point, the age at which waiting until 70 produces more total lifetime income than claiming at 62, is approximately 80 to 83. That means if you live to average life expectancy, you come out ahead by waiting. And if you live past it, which roughly half of people do, the gap widens every single year. One analysis found that claiming at 62 instead of 70 reduces total lifetime benefits by approximately $144,000. Another academic study put the figure above $182,000. These are not projections based on unusual assumptions. These are calculations based on the SSA's own benefit formula and standard actuarial life tables. $150,000. Gone. Not because someone took it from you, not because the market crashed, because you took it from yourself, 8 years too early, based on a fear that made sense emotionally, but collapsed completely under basic arithmetic. And here is where the vulnerability is real. Most people claim early not because they've run the numbers, but because they're scared. Scared the system will go bankrupt. Scared they'll die young. Scared that waiting means leaving money on the table. But the fear of dying before collecting is the wrong fear. The actuarially dangerous scenario is not dying at 72 and missing out. It is living to 89 on a check that was permanently reduced by 30% because you claimed at 62. Running out of money in your late 80s. That is the risk nobody talks about. And the system was designed to protect you from it, but only if you let it. Think about what 30% less means when you're 85. Your expenses haven't gone down. Healthcare costs are rising. Your savings may be depleted. And the Social Security check, the one income source that's guaranteed for life, adjusted for inflation, is $1,400 a month instead of $2,480. The difference is $13,000 a year, every year, for the rest of your life, at the exact moment in your life when you are most financially vulnerable and least able to earn it back. That is what claiming early actually costs, not in theory, in your 80s, in your kitchen, in real life. And there is another layer most people never consider. If you're married, your claiming decision doesn't just affect you. It affects your spouse, potentially for decades after you're gone. When one spouse dies, the surviving spouse receives the higher of the two Social Security benefits. If you, the higher earner, claimed at 62 instead of 70, you didn't just reduce your own check. You reduced the check your spouse will depend on after you die. You locked them into a permanently smaller benefit at the most vulnerable chapter of their life. That decision cannot be undone. Now, none of this means you should blindly wait until 70. If you are in poor health, if you have no other income, if you cannot work and have no savings, claiming early may be the right decision. This is not a universal rule. It is a calculation. And the tragedy is that most people never make it. They claim based on instinct, based on fear, based on what their neighbor did, based on a belief that the money is better in hand than in the system. You can run this calculation yourself. The Social Security Administration has tools on their website, ssa.gov, that show your projected benefit at 62, at 67, at 70. You can see the numbers. You can compare them. You can look at your family's health history, your savings, your spouse's situation, and make a decision based on what the math says, not what the anxiety says. You can also look at what happens if your spouse outlives you. What check will they receive? Is it the reduced one you locked in at 62, or the full one you could have built by waiting? That question alone changes the decision for millions of couples, and almost nobody asks it until it's too late. You've been paying into this system your entire life, every paycheck, without exception. The system owes you a choice, and the choice has a right answer for your specific situation. But the right answer requires 10 minutes of math. Not a feeling, not a fear. 10 minutes. The most expensive financial mistake in retirement isn't a bad investment. It's a form, filed too early, based on a fear that felt urgent, that quietly costs you $100,000 over the rest of your life. And you can't undo it once it's signed.